The holiday season is here, and Academy Sports and Outdoors has the legendary gifts you need at undefeatable prices every day. Shop in stores or online at academy.com to save on gifts on everybody's list. From football jerseys and basketball hoops to fire pits and deer stands, the most wonderful time of the year happens here. This Christmas, give the gift of fun from Academy Sports and Outdoors. We're giving the gift of Ohio State football information at Lettermen Row. That's Mick Walker. I'm Spencer Holbrook. Let's talk about Ohio State 48, UCLA 10. Mick, we've both had a chance to rewatch the game. As everyone can hear, I still am not fully recovered from whatever I'm trying to shake off here. It's November. We're all going through it. Ohio State's got an injury report. Everybody does at this point. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. You do sound better, at least. You sound a little bit better. Hey, gradual improvement. Gradual improvement day over day. Just getting better towards the end of the season.
We're just trying to get better, man. We're looking to stack days brick by brick. You know, all the coaching cliches you can use. That's me right now. I think I have enough allergy and cold medicine in me to kill a horse, but that's all right. It is what it is, man. It's November.
Hey, Ohio State killed a Bruin on Saturday, so everybody's just kind of going after animals right now.
Yeah, don't come after us, PETA. Actually, go ahead. I don't care. Let's talk. Ohio State 48, UCLA 10. No Cardell Tate. Jeremiah Smith made a highlight catch, then hit the bench. James Peoples was awesome. Defense was boringly good. I hate to use that word, but it's just the reality. Like the defense was so good that it was kind of boring at times. Let's start on the offensive side. I know that you've got some takeaways here. What was your biggest lesson learned on the rewatch, Mick?
Yeah, you mentioned his name there, James Peoples. I thought overall all the younger running backs, obviously there's no CJ Donaldson, so I guess I don't need to clarify that, but James Peoples, Isaiah West, Bo Jackson, those three running backs Ohio State's kind of been giving more and more playing time to in the past couple of weeks. They all look good against UCLA. I think Bo Jackson had a couple real good crease runs. Same with Isaiah West. Like we're talking big, like longer explosive runs, and obviously James Peoples has the big play with the hurdle to end up in the end zone. So those three were kind of my big takeaway. Just realizing that Ohio State's run game, I don't think it's perfect where they'd like it to be yet, but maybe with Gabe Van Sickle getting more playing time, maybe with Josh Padilla potentially still working in the lineup, and those three running backs, I think Ryan Day's told us it multiple times. Todd Blackledge on the NBC broadcast referenced it again. But up until now, like Bo Jackson, Isaiah West, James Peoples hadn't been actually getting tackled a lot. They don't know like the actual feel of getting hit by linebackers or bouncing off of contact. Now that they have some games under their belt, they're 10 games into the season now, you kind of get a better feel for it. So I think the run game, especially the running backs, are kind of rounding into where they need to be as you get to this postseason.
James Peoples has 107 carries in his career. See, Isaiah West doesn't even have 75 carries in his career. Bo Jackson doesn't have he might have 100 right now, but I guess I didn't look that up. But he's right around that 100 mark for his career. These guys are young, man. It was going to take time. And look, we're going to do all this with the caveat. UCLA, horrendous against the run. Horrendous. Almost 200 yards a game on the ground. And it's not the Penn State one where it's just a couple games have contributed to that spike. Like they are routinely giving up 150, 175, 215, 250 on the ground. Like it is bad. But what do you do to bad teams? You look good against bad teams. And I think the running game for really the first time this year looked dominant against a bad team. They looked decent against Purdue. Would have had over 200 yards against Purdue had that first run not been taken off the board. They had a really good day on the ground, I thought, against Penn State relative to what maybe we thought they could do. But they haven't looked great against a bad run defense this year. They looked great on Saturday. And I don't care who it was against. If you look great against bad, that's better than looking good against bad. And so I take this as a big win for Ohio State. And look, they're going to see another rushing attack this week from Rutgers that, believe it or not, is worse against the run than UCLA is. So you're going to have another game of momentum to build before you go up to Ann Arbor. I think the biggest takeaway for me, because I think you would agree with this, Mick. Tell me if you agree. We know that Bo Jackson is good at running the ball, right?
Correct.
We know that Isaiah West can be a really good complement to Bo Jackson in their freshman season, right?
Correct.
Saturday, we learned that James Peoples has officially arrived. And I wrote about this at lettermenrow.com on Sunday, and I think it's worth rehashing, though, and not to toot my own horn or anything like that. But I was rewatching the Penn State game a couple weeks ago, and I saw James Peoples have a 13-yard run in the fourth quarter. He runs a couple guys over. He gets tackled. He gets up. He's flexing. He's talking his you-know-what. He's getting really animated. And it was just one carry. He had 4 carries for 19 yards in that game. I thought it was super important for him to just – it's almost like if Steph Curry goes through a shooting rut, just seeing one go in. I think it's super important for James Peoples in that moment. I asked Ryan Day about it 2 days later. On Tuesday, I asked him, I said, hey, I know it was just one run, but what can that do? Ryan Day said he's been practicing better. You can see it with him. Now he's taking it to the game, and he looks much better in a game. And then I asked him about it after the game, and he said, yeah, if I'm being honest with myself, I've been practicing better. That is translating, Nick. And we just agreed, we knew what Bo Jackson and Isaiah West can do. But to see James Peoples start to hit a new gear, I know it wasn't a 150-yard game and 3 touchdowns, but like his 6 carries for 42 yards and two scores, that's huge for this team. And I think his ability to run the ball can change the way they can operate on offense.
Ohio State didn't need to have a 1,000-yard rusher going into the end of November, like going into the playoff. They just needed to make sure that the run game and the players involved in that were like capable and willing and good enough to be trusted to be able to shoulder the load and be able to do what they're doing. And I think we've known Bo Jackson's going to be able to do that the past couple of weeks. Isaiah West came on, and now, like you said, I think James Peoples, so Ohio State, I assume, and then C.J. Donaldson goes in there. So you have 4 running backs again that you feel comfortable that you can trust and kind of shoulder the load or carry it, like lead the run game when you get into Ann Arbor, Michigan, and when you get into the hopefully, or if you're Ohio State, into the Big Ten championship game against Indiana.
And to be clear, Bo Jackson could get to 1,000 yards. I would actually be surprised at this point if he doesn't. He's at 725 right now. He didn't even play in the Texas game, so that's through 9 games. That's almost 75, 80, 80.6 yards a game. So, if he has that in the next 3, he's going to be pushing right up there near that 1,000-yard mark. And if he goes over 120 on Saturday against Rutgers, which I don't think is out of the question, and then has a decent day on the ground against Michigan, you might see him in the Big Ten championship game get over 1,000 yards in the first round or the quarterfinal of the college football playoff, depending where they play, get over 1,000 yards. And so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I just think the run game is worth highlighting here. I thought Gabe Van Sickle played well. If we're moving on a little bit, I thought he looked good. He outsnapped Tegra Shabola, which I think has more to do with even when the backups went in, GVS was in there a little bit. And so, that probably contributes to it. But I also think that they're willing to try different pieces in there. And I actually thought Tegra played pretty well. So positive momentum on right guard. I thought this was the best blocking game for the tight ends. I thought it was fantastic. I tweeted out a clip of Will Kazmarek just absolutely burying somebody on the first touchdown for Ohio State. Nate Roberts had a couple of really nice blocks. I think he was kind of up against it this week, kind of proved himself a little bit, showed something that we haven't seen from him. So kudos to him. Seriously, when we talk about a guy who, they might need to go away from when he plays well, we need to praise that. And then obviously the 2,000-yard elephant in the room is Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah, and I don't know if we'll get clarification on that on Tuesday. I don't know what more Ryan Day can tell us if there is anything to clarify, but that's the next step to kind of figuring it out. I believe maybe it was you or Austin Ward at some point after the game kind of referenced that they were hoping to have Carnell Tate back for this coming week before you have to go up to Michigan and play the Wolverines. So hopefully you get both those guys back healthy before you head up to Ann Arbor if you're Ohio State and you have a full passing attack against your in the game.
I won't be surprised if Carnell Tate plays on Saturday, at least a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. They've got a full week of practice. They don't get on the practice field until Tuesday morning or Tuesday afternoon. So Wednesday night would probably be the time where we get some more clarity on Carnell Tate if Ryan Day is willing to answer some questions about it, which he'll be asked about it regardless. So we'll see what he has to say. But I do wonder, if Carnell can come back this week, get a little bit of a feel for the game again before he goes up to Michigan. So we'll see. That's a huge thing for this team. Obviously, they're so much better when Jeremiah and Carnell are healthy. To me, and I am not a medical doctor, do not take this as me being, diagnosing. I thought Jeremiah looked really good in pregame. He looked fine. When he was on the field, he looked fast. He looked athletic. He looked fine. And then when he stood around for a while and got cooled down a little bit, that's when he looked pretty tense. And that's when you saw him jogging off the field and gingerly going up the tunnel and things like that. I wonder if this is a tightness, stretch it out, you can play tightness situation. And so we'll just see where it goes. I don't have anything for anybody right now. It's Carnell watch. It's Jeremiah watch. Everybody wants information. We'll try to get it over at lettermenrow.com when we have it. What I do have, Mick, is a nice, beautiful, beautiful shaven face. Thanks to my friends at the Dollar Shave Club. Mick, you've heard me talk about them before. Now it's Christmas season. Like, go to Dollar Shave Club and get your collegiate handle. When you rep your team, don't stop at the jersey. Dollar Shave Club's collegiate razor handles combine grooming with glory, letting students, grads, and fans show their school spirit and style. From the sink to the stadium, shave with school pride. Visit dollarshaveclub.com and grab your college handle today. dollarshaveclub.com. Thanks to Dollar Shave Club for being a part of the show, being a part of the program, if you will. Mick, we'll run through the defense pretty quick here because I'm going to lose my voice, to be honest. Like, I would love to go 45 minutes on a Monday. We used to do that. I would still love to do that, but I'm going to lose this vocal box of mine, and I don't think anybody needs that, which there are probably a lot of people who would love if I lost my voice, to be honest. What did you see about the defense that you liked, Mick?
I told you before the show, but it's fascinating to think about where we were preseason and like, oh, they have Caden McDonald, Edric Houston, and we don't really know beyond that. I think at this point, obviously, I think UCLA hangs their hat on running the ball, so it was a little bit of a more interesting test against the Bruins. But I think Ohio State it's shown now that it has 4 playable defensive tackles, which is, again, a stark contrast from where many thought it was going to be in the preseason. Taiwan Malone's continued to play well. It wasn't just like a couple-game fluke. Will Smith has shown throughout the whole season, really, that he's very good in a handful of spurts, especially on rundowns. Like, he just crashes to the ball every single time. So with those two guys, and you have those linebackers in there with Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, and even Peyton Pierce, like, the front seven is a lot better and more talented, I think, many thought coming into the season. So that's what you want to see when you're getting up ready to go up to Ann Arbor here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I thought Edric Houston was fantastic again. I thought Kenyatta Jackson. Here, I'll tell you a funny story. In the press box, I have my phone on mute, do not disturb. I try not to be bothered by anything. I'm working, I'm watching the game. I'm on the message board. Go to the lettermenrow.com right now. We have a great time during games on the message board. It is a fantastic time, and it's really civil. It's unlike any message board experience I've had, and I've been a part of some message boards before. We have a good time. I try not to look at my phone at all. So it surprised me when I got a text from one of my best friends who is a Michigan fan. And the text was just, Kenyatta Jackson, good Lord, ... That get off is insane. And it was the play where he was lined up against the guard and just made himself skinny between 2 offensive linemen, got in the backfield and stuffed a 3rd and short or 4th and short run. And it never had a chance because of how quick he was. Since we talked to Kenyatta a few weeks ago on the practice field at Woody Hayes Athletic Center, and he said that he had a conversation with Matt Patricia about how to better use him. And to I hesitate to say the word unleash because that's a Jim Knowlesism that we've kind of buried from our vocabulary. But they have kind of unleashed him and just let him play. And man, he has been so good since mid-October. It's been a special run that he's been on. And look, the stat numbers, the sacks, they don't really show that. But if you watch the game, 97 shows up all the time.
And he shows up between every snap, too. He's the first guy. Nobody loves to throw their hands up and try and get the crowd excited more than Kenyatta Jackson. It's hilarious to watch. His shoulder's going to work out every time because he's throwing those hands up in the air. And he really is. Caden Kerr, obviously, I think, sets a certain level of tone as well. But Kenyatta Jackson is right up there with him when it comes to just setting the tone for this defense and the energy he provides. And it's kind of funny to think that those two guys have just waited so long to bide their time. And then ever since they've got on the field in a full-time capacity, they've just unleashed heck upon every offensive line they faced.
There you go. Okay. Last thing from me on the defense. Caleb Downs is really, really good at this, man. First play of the game, tackle for loss, sheds a block on the outside. Second play of the game, comes off the edge, helps stop the run. Then it's 3rd and 12 right off the bat for a quarterback who's only thrown one career collegiate pass. That's how you set the tone. I don't care what else he did the rest of the day. He didn't play the entire second half. It didn't matter. Those two plays are the exact impact that you need to see from him. He didn't make the tackle on the second one, but he was sure a part of the play. So I think he was worth highlighting. And then speaking of, the guy who replaced him, Fahim Delane, who's probably going to be a starting safety in this defense next year as long as he keeps handling his business, I thought he played pretty well. I thought he was pretty good. He showed up a couple times on the rewatch in the second half when people probably aren't doing a lot of rewatching of the young guys. I was kind of locked in trying to see like which guys stood out a little bit. Thought Fahim played pretty well.
I like that one a lot as well. Fahim Delane, you mentioned him, Blaine Bradford, the real highly ranked safety commit for Ohio State. He was back in the stadium. So those two guys, whenever Caleb Downs does leave for the NFL, those two guys will be very important. One other member of the secondary that I think we talked about post game that still needs some credit to his name, and it's more because of special teams. But what Lorenzo Styles did, and credit to Nate Ebner, I think, who you mentioned, and like the whole process of getting that schemed up to get the kickoff return score. Credit to him for getting his name in the history books, and to all the Ohio State fans that kind of wanted him benched or off the field now have to remember him as the last player that scored the kickoff return touchdown.
Look, man, the way they set that up, they set it up, they drew it up, they ran it, and it scored. They're going to try more of that. If they know that Styles is a weapon back there, and they know that they now have the capability to do that, you're going to see a special teams group that might not get more aggressive, but might choose its spots and just see if it can pop another one. Because that was really well drawn up. If you watch the way that they ran that from the sky cam, NBC showed that. A lot of credit to NBC for that camera angle. They drew it up and they ran it to perfection. So if they can get that level from the kick return unit, why not try it a couple more times? Why not try it against Rutgers? Why not try to return one against Michigan, steal a special teams score, or get a big gain that shortens the field for you in a game that might feature some inclement weather if we know Ann Arbor the way that we know Ann Arbor. So, I just think that it can be a weapon for this team. Ryan Day's talked about it needs to be a weapon. It was a weapon there. And then last but not least, we don't watch the TV copy, Mick. I watched the TV copy for the rewatch. I do not think there's a better crew right now in college football than Noah Eagle and Todd Blackledge. That might be a hot take. I don't care. Noah Eagle is fantastic. And I've always liked Todd Blackledge. I've always thought he was really good. I thought he was fantastic in the Sugar Bowl, the Ohio State-Alabama 2014 Sugar Bowl. Thought he was absolutely great in that game. I missed him calling Ohio State football for a while. The last 2 years when Ohio State's been on NBC, I think he's really good. And putting those two together, they make the game fun to watch. And I think that for everything that I do complaining about Gus and Joel, and there are moments where I think Gus and Joel do a good job, but hearing Noah Eagle and Todd Blackledge call a game, I think it's a positive experience. I liked it.
Yep, credit where credit is due. Those guys do good work, and the
standard is the standard, Mick.
That's correct. They do good work. I'd like to believe it. We also do good work over at Lettermen Row. Spencer said it a couple times, but $1 for your first 7 days. You get on over there and you can read what you potentially and hopefully agree with is good work.
That right there, my friends, is a flawless transition by Mr. Nicholas Walker. That is Mick Walker, the transition king himself. I'm just Spencer Holbrook. I don't know how I follow that up. So I'm just going to get out of here and go rest my voice. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Like he said, go to lettermenrow.com right now. $1 for your first 7 days. We'll see you guys over there at lettermenrow.com. We'll see you in the Woody for Ryan Day's press conference on Tuesday. And we'll see you back here on the YouTube channel to break it all down.